Hello, I'm Melody Tan, and sitting next to me is.
My name is Mark Knudsen.
So today, we've just finished the Duathlon World Championships.
We have,
How did that go?
actually, it went really well. The feedback from the athletes were good, and we were really excited to show you all of Odense. And now we are really excited to show you all of Svendborg.
So now we're going to Svendborg.
Yeah.
So today we're going to cover the Cross Triathlon age group and para triathlon briefing. So we'll run through the briefing agenda. I will do some welcome and introductions, introduce you to the competition jury, run through some schedules and timetables, go through the check-in and procedures, and I think Mark will share with you the lovely course we have in Svendborg.
Yeah.
And we'll go through some post-race procedures and touch on the weather forecast. So we would like to welcome Eric Anstad Torres. He will be the ITU team leader. And for the technical delegates, we have Thanos Nikopoulos, Duncan Hoff, myself, Melody Tan, Kalle Jensen, Stefan Morris, and ITU medical delegate will be Dr. Jan Verstoof. Ulf Schwedz from Canada will be the ITU head referee for elite under 23 and juniors. Juliette Fahy from New Zealand will be the ITU head referee for age group and para. And we have here Mark, who is your LOC race director.
That's me.
Yep. So for this competition, I will be the chair, and Chris Kitchen from Ireland will be the ITU representative, and Morten Fanger from Denmark representing the host national federation. So some of the schedule and timelines that you need to remember. On Monday, July 9th, which is actually today, 12:30 to 3:30, there will be bike check-in for age group and para. From 2 to 3 p.m., there will be team managers briefing. 2:30 to 4, you can do a swim course familiarization to try out the water. 3 to 4, there will be a video briefing session and you can come and ask some questions. It's very important to remember that there will be transportation provided by LOC from Odense to and from Svendborg. For more information, please make sure you check the athlete guide.
Okay, guys. So when you arrive at Svendborg on the race day, it is again important to remember all the times that you need to be there for. From 7:30 to 8:30, we have the transport to Svendborg. And from 9 to 10:30, you have the transition check-in of all your
other equipment,
all your other necessities, your nutritions, and obviously we start the races after that point. Remember to see what swim caps you have, because that is what age category you're in.
So I guess the para triathletes will be using a certain colored swim cap. So here is green. And at 10:30, we have the age group men, 18 to 44, and they will be wearing yellow swim caps. 10:35, we have the men 45, and they wear blue swim caps. 10:40, all the female will be in pink swim caps. And at 11, we have the open wave men in gold swim caps, and 11:05, women with red swim caps.
Yes. And furthermore, we have, after the race, you will have to check out your bike at some point. That will be from 1:45 to 4:45. And then after you have checked out your bike, then you can take transportation back to Odense. It is from 2 to 4:30. And then we have the ceremonies, and remember these ceremonies, guys, is in Odense. 6:30 we have the para triathlon ceremony, and immediately after at 6:45 it is the age groups ceremony.
So these ceremonies are actually happening in Odense, yes, and not in Svendborg?
Yes.
Okay. So important to remember that during your swim you actually have some cutoff times. It is 1 hour and 10 minutes from your wave start, and 45 minutes if you're in para. So for bikes, we even have cutoffs. 2:30 is the bike cutoff for our age group in the cross tri, and 4 p.m. is the run cutoff time.
Yeah, so we have to run fast. So here is the transportation schedules for all your athletes on the 9th of July. These are also available in the athletes guides.
So it looks like there's actually shuttles every 15 minutes from 11 a.m.
Yeah.
So where exactly is this from? Where can an athlete get onto the bus?
Okay. The athletes go to the here we go. The athletes have to take on to the transportation zone. So if they have been into the King's Garden, they probably have to see all the great events in the weekend. They'll just have to cross the railroad over the exciting bridge we have, and then they are immediately on the transportation zone.
So it's a short walk from King's Garden,
yeah.
And all the transportation times can actually be found on the Athlete's Guide or on Facebook.
Yes. Okay. And then you can always ask an info booth if you can find it.
Right. So I think this is your expertise. Please share with us the
venue. Here we have the venue in Svendborg. It is down at the city harbor. It's an exciting place, a lot of industry down there. It's a really cool place, actually.
Well, I visited there today, and I have to say that it's very beautiful. I'm sure everybody will be very excited to see it.
Yeah. So important to note here, guys, in the shuttle drop-off zone, as you can see in the most top part of the picture, is actually a bit more north than the picture shows. It is around a 500-meter walk. So strap on your walking shoes and then go down to the venue for all the fun.
Okay. So you must remember that you need to check in your bikes a day before. Enter through any of the gates into transition, and we're dividing it into 3 rows. Men are below 44, men above 45, and all the female and open waves. So you can check your bike and helmet the day before. If you want to return home with your helmet, you can do so. And since it's outdoors, we're going to allow bike covers. Make sure you don't leave any nutrition items in the transition since it's open to the elements.
And then obviously we have, it is not the open rave because that would be another sport.
Okay. So other bike check-in procedures to remember in case you have any mechanical problems, we actually have the bike mechanics around. Your wheel diameter for your mountain bike should be 29 inches and the minimum cross section is 1.5 inch. There will be a number plate provided, so make sure you zip tie this to your handlebar. We'll be providing you zip ties. And finishing without a number plate is actually a disqualification, so make sure you wear them. We will also do a helmet check, so make sure that your strap is snug, there are no cracks inside your helmet, and make sure you've already attached your helmet stickers. If you wish to add any equipment to the bike, you must obtain approval from the head referees, and you have 10 minutes after the end of the athlete briefing to get permission. Clip-on handlebars are forbidden, and you must use traditional mountain bike bar ends, and these must be plugged. So for entering on race morning, only registered athletes with the gold wristband can enter. You must make sure that you already have body marking. Tattoos are provided in your race packages. So make sure you've numbered yourself. There will be a uniform check. So make sure there is name, country, logo, ITU logo, and the zippers are the correct sizes. And collect your timing chip as you enter transition, and make sure you remember to put them on immediately. So upon entering the transition on race morning, so you must note that you would have already checked in your mountain bikes the day before. You're not allowed to bring in your bikes on race morning. And your bicycles cannot be removed until the bike portion is finished. There are mechanics or technicians on site if you have any mechanical. You can bring your own pumps. Gear not required during the race. They must be left in the morning clothes tent. So we actually have an area where you can leave all your non-race
Yes.
items, and you're not allowed to mark your spot. So
No.
if we find any marking, if you've left a balloon or something, we're going to be removing that.
Yes. So the swim is inside the harbor, and you can of course have a swim warm up. Sorry, it's along the pier just near the start area. If you need to do the warm up, you'll need to do the warm up and be in the pre-start area before you actually have to race.
So how easy is it to get in and out of the water in this area?
Well, it's easy to get in the water because there's a large pontoon you can get onto.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you exit the water, you need to do it from some stairs.
Okay, so there's some stairs that you can exit
Yes.
from. Okay. So some of the pre-start procedures that you must remember, there are actually 3 waiting areas, which is the pre-start 1, then you walk to the pre-start 2, and finally next to the start line. So please make sure you know your exact starting time and be on time. There are some toilets in the transition, and there are some in front of the Harbour Master Building. You will go through a start audit timing mat that will officially register you into the race results system. And then you will need to swim to a virtual start line. So basically look out for the 2 boys on your left and right. If you reach there, that would be your imaginary start line. Select a position, stay behind the line which is formed by the 2 boys.
Yeah.
So once athletes are in position, there will be a start that will be given at any time after the head referee will say, on your mark, and you can only start after the air horn blasts. So the race starts. So any athletes starting in the wave earlier than the one they have been allocated will be disqualified. So what happens if an athlete starts later than the allocated wave?
Well, then the time will just start from the original time.
Okay.
So if you
it's an additional time. So make sure you start on time.
That would be a great idea.
So if you should hear several horn blasts happening, kayaks appearing in front of you, then make sure you swim back to the virtual start line, which is where the 2 boys are, and we will conduct the start procedure again.
Exactly.
So tell us about the course distances.
Well, we have 2 course distances. The Paris will run half the distance of the age group, which will contain of a 1.5 kilometer.
0.5 kilometer.
Sorry. 0.5 kilometers swim, which is 1 lap. The bike will consist of 15.2 kilometers, which is also 1 lap, and the run is 5.2 and also 1 lap. Okay. The age groupers will have a bit more longer swim. Okay. I'll show you that in a bit. They will have 2 laps on the bike, which will be around 29 kilometers, and 2 laps on the run, which is just over 10 k's. Okay. So the swim course was down today. Yep. At 2. Okay. The water temperature was just below 19 degrees, and the air temperature was a hot 26 degrees.
I can attest to the air temperature, but not the water temperature.
Oh, you were not in?
Nope.
Oh, why not?
No swimming.
No swimming, okay. If a wetsuit decision is made 1 hour before the start of each race. The swim course is designed with different colored buoys. If you have a red buoy, you must pass it on your right hand side. If you see a green buoy, you must pass it on your left hand side. So it depends on which way you're turning of the color of the buoy. The paras and the juniors have a different swim course than the age group, and they will have to turn at the first sighting buoy, which is yellow. And the distance to that first buoy is around 400 meters. The swim cutoff is per standard.
As per ITU competition rules, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah. And here you can see the layout of the swim course.
Okay.
I think if I no, I
it's
go
the
back.
next slide.
Yeah.
So basically the para will do the shorter course, which is colored in purple. They will basically be swimming down to the yellow buoys, and they will do a turn and follow the green buoys, then the red buoy to the swim exit. And for the age groupers, they do a longer course, which is 1 kilometer. They will continue on to the green, following the green signs right to the end where the two red buoys are, and they will do a longer loop back to swim exit.
Exactly.
So for swim, it's very important to remember you need to take your cap, your goggles to the transition, and you need to place all these equipment, which are now considered used, into your numbered box.
Exactly.
So I think now you can try the map.
I can try the map.
Yes.
The swim exit, as you saw here, is down at the bottom of the picture, and
which is in yellow.
Which is in yellow, of course, yes. Yeah. And when you do the swim exit, you would enter the transition zone this way, running up and then making a short U-turn and going into the transition.
Okay. So for transition area, we are using traditional bike racks, and these are numbered with athlete IDs. Orientation boards will be at the beginning of each row, but it's always good for you to orientate yourself when you park your bicycle to go and see which row you are. Rack your mountain bike by your saddle. All equipment must be near your race number, so it's within 0.5 meters. And if you have any bags, please leave them in the backdrop area, and there will be a mount line on the road. Okay.
Yeah, so here you can see the flow of the transition zone. You would follow the purple line into the transition zone, grab your change, and then grab your mountain bike, and then you would go out on the yellow line here, passing the mount line.
So it's very important to remember, once you see the mount line, you must go over the mount line before you can start cycling.
Yes. The bike course is, like we told earlier, for the Paris run lap of just over 15 kilometers. The age groups are doing 2 laps of 29 kilometers. It's approximately a transport area of 4 kilometers out with
tarmac.
Okay. To the lap, and it is extremely important for the age groupers that you don't come back to the transition to start the second lap.
So I think what Mark is trying to say is, if you're doing the para, you just do 1 lap of 15.2.
Yes.
But if you're doing the age group, you don't come back on the tarmac section, but you need to turn around to go on your second lap.
Yes.
Before coming back.
Exactly.
So I hear it's a beautiful mountain bike track.
Yeah.
Of course, I see many people enjoying it, as in they come back and they're like, wow. So tell me about this course, because I heard you wrote it.
Yeah, I've ridden it many times, and it is technical. I'm not a great biker, but I can definitely tell for sure that it is technical.
And I hear it's actually an environmental protected area.
Yeah,
Why is that?
Well, here in Denmark we have some environmental protected areas which we'll like to show off to people. So we of course do everything we can to have it stay that way.
And I think it's also a UCI mountain bike guideline course. So
yeah, we have marked it with all the UCI normal mountain bike guidelines.
Okay.
And it's important to say about the course as well. It is technical, but due to all the weather, it has become very, very fast.
I hear it's very sandy. So is that going to cause any dust?
Yeah, it's going to be dusty to ride. So that's the reports we have gotten from down there. But also you would normally get more speed in this kind of track than you normally would on a normal track.
So for athletes, it's really important to remember drafting is allowed, but not between men and women. And you can only when it's safe, you can give way to faster riders. So you may have some riders who are coming on from behind you and they may want to pass. When it's safe to do so, please make sure you move to your right so that they can overtake you on the left.
And the athletes want to pass can always give a signal to the rider in front saying, I want to pass, and then do it at the nearest opportunity.
How I usually say it is on your left.
Exactly.
So if you need to, please carry spares. So carry extra tubes.
Yeah.
So on the bike course, we have marked a repairing zone. So we'll show you this on the map. Basically, we'll provide some tools and pumps. There will also be a technician there, but you need to change your own gear yourself.
Yes.
And there are also multiple timing verification points. This is to ensure there's no cutting of the course. There's a filling station on the course, no support from volunteers. So you must stop, you must dismount your bike if you need to use the filling station.
Yes.
So we are providing water and F2C hydrodurance.
Yes.
What is that?
Well, this is energy.
Okay, so energy drink.
Yes.
And you can only discard bottles and litter within the littering zone. So look out for the signs. There is a start sign and there's an end sign. So you only litter within that zone.
Yes.
If you are caught littering outside, you might see a penalty. You might receive a penalty.
Exactly. So here is the bike course layout, and the turn for the age group Elite and the U23 is in a roundabout.
Okay.
And when the paras and the juniors see the roundabout, they just need to go straight to transition. And here is also where we have the bike cutoff point.
Okay.
The start of the trail is after.
So basically, from transition to the start of the trail is tarmac.
It is tarmac, yeah.
Okay.
And actually, just before entering the start of the trail, you actually have a very, very good steep hill.
Mm-hmm.
So to get those legs burning.
Steep hill. Okay.
A steep hill on the tarmac to get those legs burning.
Okay.
So the forest and the track is divided into two parts.
Mm-hmm.
We have the red and the black one, which you enter first. It is the very, very technical part, and it's very important to mention again, be very careful out there, be cautious. It is a fast track, and it's getting even faster with all these hot conditions. After you have been on the red and the black track, you are entering the blue track. Okay. This is less technical, but can be just as dangerous because you will get a lot more speed on it.
So between the red and black, which is the one that's more technical?
The red is definitely the most technical.
Isn't it the black one?
Yeah, obviously the black. We have black zones on the red track.
Okay, so athletes need to be very careful in both these zones.
Yeah.
And they need to look out for our marshals.
Yes.
Okay,
and here we have the filling station. It is basically after you have come out of
the technical sections.
Yeah, okay. of the forest. Yes. And obviously it's here.
You need some refueling.
Yes, and the littering zone is also placed here.
Okay.
The end of the trail goes down to a dirt path, which you will take all the way into the roundabout, which we mentioned before.
Okay, so are these trails narrow or are they wide?
And as you can see we're taking the tour around. We have in the forest at both the red, black, and blue. We have passing zones.
Okay.
So we actually have many opportunities to pass, and the dirt path here in the end, there is plenty of opportunities to actually pass.
Do you remember if it's a shaded trail or is it mostly open?
It's a bit of both. The blue is definitely shaded for most parts, and the red is have some very open areas as well as some shaded areas.
Okay.
So
wow, that's a lot of signs.
That's a lot of signs. Okay. As we mentioned before, the course is marked with the
UCI.
standard
UCI
UCI.
mountain bike.
Yes, And in the four top signs, you see directional signs. This is where you need to
look out for them.
Look out for them. See if you're going straight, right, left, or what.
What's the last one?
The last one is bridge ahead. We have on the bike course some places where you would pass a small bridge. Yeah. So this is clearly marked. And every time on the course that you need to be careful, have caution. We have obviously signed this as well. And it is extremely important that you all guys take caution.
Okay. What do the 2 down arrows mean?
Well, this is basically how to describe what you're about to enter. And the more arrows down, the more dangerous that is.
Okay, so you're going downhill.
Yes.
And you're going like really, really downhill.
Yes.
So please be very careful.
Yes.
So 2 arrows means careful down. 2 times.
Careful 2 times.
3 arrows means many more times, is it?
Yes, exactly.
What about the X?
Well, the X signals a wrong way, and it's basically put everywhere on the trail where you don't have to go.
So it means we shouldn't go there if we see an X.
If you see an X, turn around and get back on the course.
Okay.
And as I mentioned before, we also have these passing zones.
Okay.
So every time you see a passing zone, it is marked by a sign before the passing zone, 50 meters before the passing zone. Yeah. And every time it starts, we have a bit more wider road that you can pass on.
If we're somebody coming from behind and we're looking for an opportunity to pass, when we see these signs, it means, okay, it's a wider trail coming ahead.
Yeah, and now it's easy to pass. Okay. Obviously, you always have the opportunity to pass. Here it's just very easy to pass.
Okay. What about the next set of signs?
The next section is obviously when you ride the mountain bike, often on the tracks, you do alternative path.
Okay.
Which means it's basically going from A to B. You end the same place, but in 2 different ways.
Okay. So it's 2 alternative routes to get to the same point.
Exactly.
So how do I know which one I should take?
Well, that obviously depends, because these are also clearly marked, because the difficulty of the 2 alternative paths is often very different.
Okay. So I take the technical and you take the chicken loop?
Yeah, that could work.
Okay, so if you do see our marshals and volunteers out there, if they're waving a flag at you and whistling, it means that there could have been an accident or there's an area that you need to be cautious about. So please be alert. Okay, we're back to the transition. It's very important to remember when you enter transition, you need to dismount before the dismount line, rack your mountain bike on your saddle, and any of your used equipment, you need to make sure that it's in the box or within 0.5 meters of your race number.
Yes. And here is the layout of the transition when you go into transition 2. The dismount line is basically where the mount line is.
Yes.
Then you would run down to the transition and take on your running shoes.
Yeah.
Go out of transition, actually merge with the bikers coming in with their bikes.
Yeah.
And then instead of going right to transition, you're going left on a U-turn and going out on the run course.
Okay.
And on the run course, we have the pairs doing 1 lap of about 5 kilometers, and the age group is doing 2 laps of 10 kilometers. The course is marked with tape. It is a combination of tarmac, sand, and trail run.
Well, I heard from my team that it's the most beautiful run course, but it's very technical. They said you can see a little bit of the sea, you can see a little bit of mountain, there's a little bit of climbing even.
Yeah.
So tell me about this run course.
Well, actually, we have 2 steep sections. One of them we have named the wall.
The wall.
The wall.
In a run.
In a run.
Okay.
This is a very steep section where we have put down some ropes to climb the beast or the wall, and also we've provided some artificial steps. So if you can't really get up with the ropes, you always have the opportunities to take your foot in to help.
Okay, to help yourself out.
Yeah. So that should be pretty fun
Okay.
for all you guys. And on the run course, we obviously have some aid stations. We have 2 aid stations per lap, and the second one is actually serving on both sides.
Okay.
And we will be serving water and energy on the aid stations.
Okay.
And remember to only litter within the littering zones, and these will obviously be marked before and after the aid stations.
So make sure once you finish your run, don't congest the finish area. Make sure you go straight to recovery area.
Yes. So the run course layout, as you can see here, we have the turn here for the age group elite and under 23, where you go to the second lap. The paras and juniors, they just go straight to the finish line. And here's also where we have the run cutoff point.
Okay.
The aid station is just after you start running, or you go to the second lap if you're the age groupers. The steep section is just a little after you enter the forest, and the aid station 2 and 3 are down at the hotel by the sea.
There's a hotel by the sea.
Yes, there is.
So there are several steep sections in the run course. Okay. So where exactly is the wall?
It is on the first steep section.
Okay.
And we have another steep section, and at obviously where we are, we're going back to the city.
Okay.
And if you follow the
pink dot,
we go very fast down to the steep section, into the forest again, and then on to the road, into the roundabout, and going on to the finish.
Okay.
Obviously, if you're an age grouper, remember to do the second lap.
Yeah. So penalties. So for some of you, you might be very new to penalties. So how do you know if you need to serve a penalty? If you see an official, you hear the official sounding a whistle or a horn, showing you a yellow card calling your athlete number, advising you on a penalty. So the time penalty must be served on the spot. Please follow the instruction of the technical officials. But if you're shown a red card, it means that you may be disqualified.
Yes.
Yeah. So for post-race procedures, once you're finished, please make sure you move right through the mixed zone immediately to the recovery area and don't congest the finish line. There will be anti-doping procedures. So if you have doping, please make sure you have a photo ID with you if you're selected for testing. And don't forget to collect your bicycle. The bike checkout is from 1:45 to 4:45. Show your wristband to enter to collect your bike, but if you can't collect it, you can get somebody else to come with a bike checkout ticket.
Exactly.
Yeah. So for medal ceremony, it's very important to remember that we will be having the ceremony in Odense at the King's Garden for both the paras as well as age group. So it's 6:30 for paras and 6:45 for age group. So don't miss your bus. Make sure you get back. So for paras, we'll be awarding the top 3 finishers for both male and female. And for age group athletes, top 3 athletes will be awarded in each of the age group divisions, male and female. So the meeting point is 15 minutes before your ceremony. Make sure you go to the right side of the stage. And for medal ceremony, make sure you dress up as per ITU competition rules. All athletes must wear their uniform during the entire competition and award ceremony. Long sleeves and long pants are allowed for the award ceremony. No children are allowed up on the podium. If you cannot attend the medal ceremony, your team manager or any of your teammates can collect your medal at the end of the ceremony.
Yes. So the weather for Tuesday looks pretty decent, doesn't it?
I don't know. Today was a bit cold, even though it was hot. But I think it's been very sunny here in Odense.
It's going to be perfect race condition.
Perfect race condition.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah. Not too warm, not too cold. It's going to be really, really good.
Well, I was in Swanborg today, and one of the things I noticed was there was plenty of mosquitoes.
Yes.
So I hear due to the warm season, there's
Mm.
actually a lot more mosquitoes. So I advise everyone to
Yeah.
please use mosquito repellent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So good luck to all you guys in Svendborg, and Melody has final saying, if you can remember it.
Hello, Luca.
Yes, and that is basically good luck in